What's going on, Andrew Bond? How are you today? Thanks for coming back for a second episode. The first episode I did with you was episode 776. I'd love to hear a little bit of a, catch up on your situation. But for those that didn't listen to that episode, tell me about yourself as well.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me back. Must be doing something right. So appreciate it.
Yeah, man, you are doing something right. I love when you get on the support calls and share a win. You don't even come to ask questions. You just come to share wins and inspire and motivate people. So it's just, I'm excited to talk to you, and we can't get enough of that.
Yeah, no, it's funny because I got on all the support calls at first, and anytime you gave me some advice, I just went out and actually did it. And it's funny when you actually do what you say, it works. So you don't have to get on every call. So it's great, man. You've been a great coach. I appreciate it. But so just for anyone who doesn't know me, I tried wholesaling houses about 2.5 years ago. Took me a while to get my first deal, made $5,000, and then was in pretty bad debt just from some other stuff. And so got a sales job, but then 2021 comes around. I hear Brent talk about land, and I'm all over it. So I start sending text messages out, cold calling, end up getting a couple deals within the first probably 3 months of doing it that netted me around 25, 30 grand. And I was like, all right, this is it. Let's keep going with it. So, that's where we kind of left off from the last podcast.
That's amazing. Well, I'd love to hear, one, how old are you?
Yeah, I'm 26.
26.
Yeah.
Pretty young guy still.
Yeah.
A lot of people sitting here listening to this think, oh, maybe, they have all these preconceived notions I'm not old enough or I'm too old to do this. So I love the fact that you're a pretty young guy. I mean, when I met you, you were probably 25 or 24 and a half. I remember you messaging me. You didn't even, I think you found me on Facebook. You hadn't even joined the course yet. You asked me a couple questions. You went out and did a deal and then joined the course, I believe. So you were probably 24 at that time.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. So, and that's the nice thing too. You can scrap and hustle and you can do a deal. It's just, it's a little harder without the mentorship, but man, you can get it done. And then once you join the mentorship, it just accelerates it. At least that's what it did for me, which I can talk about.
Well, no, I appreciate you saying that, but you took action. You went out there and just took action and did it, took the steps. So, all right, 26 years old. You got one child, dog, right? Dog child.
Yeah, his name's Harvey. Yep.
Harvey, are you married?
I am. Yeah, I'm married. Live in Gilbert, Arizona, just outside of Phoenix. We're actually moving to North Carolina, where I'm from, in a couple months. With this wholesale income coming in and my day job and my wife's income, we're able to get a nice new build outside of Charlotte. So starting to see some fruits of our labor. Yeah.
That's incredible. Well, congrats. I still have to pinch myself that we get paid to do this kind of stuff. It's we bought a couple lots. It was 3 lots in Florida about 2 months ago. It was kind of just sitting. We listed it with the realtor and forgot about it. And last weekend I went out and put signs up. Actually, not last weekend, the weekend before. I take that back. We were traveling last weekend. But I went out and put signs up. I put out 12 signs that said must sell land, $250 a month. And I put about 4 of them in Spanish. And I don't know Spanish. I just did Google Translate. Well, my land sales specialist sold all 3 of them just last week. He sold them for $69,000. We bought them for $45,000. I thought we would get a lot more, but we're still going to make a little over $20-something thousand in net profit. And it's I pinch myself oh my gosh, this is so real. I just had to go and put a few signs out. And listening to you talk, you're buying a new house with this. So it's crazy. And this is nothing earth shattering. I guess I'd like to ask, how much money did you need to get started in this? Because I think I get that question from a lot of people. How much money do I need to get started? How much time is this going to take me? Those are the 2 main questions.
Yeah.
So
it depends on it just depends on how you want to run the business. If you want to do direct mail, it's going to cost a little more money, but you can still get deals with, $1,000 a month pretty easily, especially if you're mailing these rural areas and willing to, hustle on the sell side when you're selling them to a buyer. But as far as how much I started with, it was about, I actually looked at my balance sheet before this call for last year, and I started in March last year, and I spent $163 that first month, and I was able to get a deal for $6,000 2 months after that, spending $163. With that said, I was doing texting, had prop stream, so I was on a budget, but I was still able to at least get some momentum going.
So you turned $163 into $6,000.
That was the first. That was the first deal, and then from there I started adding. The more systems you add, and when you start doing direct mail, it gets a little more expensive. But that's just so that you can maintain a better lifestyle. Because I was putting a lot of time in back then, but now I'm not putting a lot of time in, just spending a little more money, and it's all good. Anyone can get into it. It's just, especially land.
That's amazing. So from March, it took you about 2 months. My understanding, it took you about 2 months to do your first deal.
Yeah. And I want to be pretty realistic too with people. I picked an area in the Carolinas that didn't work. It just didn't work for me. I could have made it work, but it wasn't working. And I had to cancel a few contracts. Like, it wasn't all rainbow and sunshines and, the posts that you see on social media. There's some failures where I could have just quit and some setbacks.
Yeah.
But I switched areas, and that's where I started seeing the success. So I think that's important to point out too. When you're first getting started, it's so easy to compare yourself to people on social media who are having success. But you really just got to look at your personal progress and be like, all right, what do I need to do to be better than yesterday? So that's something that I've been trying to focus on too. It's just, all right, am I doing better than I was doing a week ago? And then just, let others inspire me, but, don't get jealous, don't get down. Just let others inspire you.
Oh, that's pure gold.
Yeah.
There's a famous quote called, "The thief of happiness is comparison," or "comparison is the thief of happiness." That's one reason why I don't scroll on Facebook. I don't consume, I create. Yeah, you can let people inspire you, but really it's the person looking in the mirror that you have to be better than every single day. And I love that. Just track your own progress. Did you make 5 phone calls today? Well, tomorrow let's make 6.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't make 6 tomorrow, you're going to have to, make 7 the next day, or however many you missed, type thing, to get caught up.
And it's so funny because this business, it's hard. It's just so simple though. It's like really boring tasks that you do, and it only takes an hour a day, maybe. But man, these tasks pay into big paydays. Right now, on average, we're bringing in about $20,000 a month at this point. And before, that's like almost what we made all year. I think we made like $50,000 last year total. And just from tweaking a few things and doing the really boring tasks and getting systems set up, it's turned into bigger paychecks and consistent paychecks. So yeah, I'm just trying to keep it real on the podcast. It's not always the funnest, but man, if you just do the task, it gets it done and gets you paid, and then you can hire it out.
I love it. So before I ask you who is we're, how much time, now getting started, how much time would you say it took you a week? And then I want to break it down to a day, just to really, show people what it's like. And I appreciate you mentioning the boringness and the actual work. And then you had to make a shift. You were on your feet within 2 months. You realized really quickly. That's what a lot of us don't talk about enough is the struggles that we have to overcome to get to that $20,000 a month at 26 years old, about to buy a new house outside of Charlotte. Incredible. And you've been, I interviewed you almost 11 months ago on episode 776. You've done all this in less than a year. It's crazy.
All right. So yeah, as far as the time to, at first when I got started, I was just doing texting, and texting works great because it's really cheap and you can get deals. It is time intensive. So I was probably spending, still not a full-time job, time on, I was probably spending 2 to 4 hours a day doing texting, responding, making offers, things like that. And so, yeah, that's when I was doing texting, I'd probably say 2 to 4 hours a day, which was a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of time
for a side job, because I have a 9 to 5 too. So it was, it was a lot of time. It was hustle for sure. So I made the switch to direct mail about in March or February this year. And the reason I did that was like, I got to free up some time, and I think I can do about the same deal size, if not bigger, if I just switch and make my offers right. So that little tweak in just doing direct mail instead of texting opened up my time. So now I only spend about 30 minutes to an hour a day, if that. And the profits have been more than doubled what we're making last year. I mean, we've already made more than last year in the first like 6 months. I think we're at 120 in assignments this year so far, and last year total was like 60. And so making that little tweak in direct mail, and it frees up time and it's brought in more profit. So it's been awesome.
Wait a minute, $60? What do you mean? $60, $120? Like, what are you talking about here?
60 cents, actually. Yeah, no, 60 grand. Yeah, so
60,000. So 60,000
year.
Last year. You've already made in the last 7 months, because we're in July right now, about 120,000.
Yeah.
That is incredible, man. I'm going to hit the victory bell. So anybody that's got headphones on right now, just prepare for blast. So that is what we call the victory bell. And I hope I've sent you one of those. You have one of those yet, Andrew?
No, I filled out the form. I haven't got it yet. I'm waiting.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We're going to get you another. I'm going to fill out the form today as soon as we finish this, and get you a victory bell, because I want to see it behind you. So you can smash that bell.
Sounds good.
It's something about it, ringing that solid bell. But okay. So 2 to 4 hours, just getting started when you were texting, and now 30 minutes to an hour. How many days a week are you working this?
About 5. I'd say 5 days.
So 5 days a week times 1 hour a day, direct mail. So you're spending about 5 hours a week. And then before you implemented direct mail, you're doing texting. Let's just call it 4 hours a day. How many days a week were you doing back then?
5 days, pretty much the same.
Okay, so what's 5 times 4? 20 hours a week. So let's just say worst case scenario, you had to spend 20 hours a week to make 60 grand. That's not bad, man. That's still more than the average American makes. And they're working 40 plus.
You're right.
Incredible. I mean, you're doing something right. I mean, you're just taking the action, That's incredible. All right, let's get to the question. You've mentioned we a couple times, or we're a couple times. Who is we're?
We're is me and my wife, Tatum. So yeah, Tatum's been helping with a lot of like the paperwork and the administrative stuff. So it's been freeing up my time to just talk to sellers and negotiate and get it done. Also, it's funny, man. There's so many systems and technologies out there right now that can do so many tasks for you. So I implemented something called Pat Live, which I'm sure you've heard of, Brent.
Yeah.
They answer the phone. I send out so much direct mail now. They're answering the phone, because I get about 1 to 4 calls a day. So they're answering the phone, and I can just kind of call back the people who look like, they're solid and look like good leads. That frees up a ton of time. And then obviously on the acquisition, the direct mail, I don't have to worry about hiring someone for texting. So getting these systems in place and having my wife to help me with the admin stuff has just freed up so much time. And obviously we're not going to stop here. Like I want to kind of be completely out of it, and not completely, but being, be able to work on the business more instead of in it shortly. So I mean, we're getting there.
I love that. I love hearing that you're going to be working on the business, having a business that serves you and Tatum, your family, and others, moving across the country. Are you going to keep your sales job, your W-2 job, when you move?
Yeah, that's how I qualified for the home loan. That's my W-2. But
no, I love it. I don't think people should quit their jobs until you have a couple years into this, because it's like you can't plant an orange tree today and live off of it tomorrow. And you're building it smart.
Well, that's the thing. And my day-to-day job is remote. So I work from home. There's a base salary. It makes sense to keep it until my wholesale and land business just exceeds it so much that it doesn't. But right now it still makes sense to keep it and just kind of double dip, on income.
I love it.
But Brent, the goal, I think on my last podcast was to have like 20 grand a month passively coming in. I think by July, by this month. I'm not there passively with land notes, but I am there with wholesale and assignments, and it's somewhat passive at this point. So my next goal for next year is to get to that 20 grand a month in passive land notes. We're kind of shifting our focus to getting those land notes because you've inspired me with seeing all those payments coming in every morning. I'm like, man, I need that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I just got off the phone right before we jumped on this podcast, and it was from one of my land buyers. She bought a piece of land that's on the side of a highway a couple years ago from me. And this was not a great piece of land, but it was really good for putting our sign up to sell more land. Yeah. And that was actually negotiated for when we sold her this land. She had to leave our sign up for 5 years, and her actual payment is longer than that. So, if she wants to leave it up even more, we'll probably knock a payment off or something. Anyhow, she called and she got my cell phone number, and my cell phone is not out there anymore for our land buyers because we have someone taking care of that now. So I was like, this is an OG. And I returned her call, asked her how she was doing. And she was frantic. She was like, oh my God, have I been paying the taxes on this land for the last couple of years? I said, yes, you pay every single month. It's $7.12. I can see it right here in my payment system. Yeah. Do you have access to see that? She's like, okay, yeah, I can go in there and see it. She was like so nervous. She thought she was about to lose it on back taxes because we collect it every single month and we pay it once a year. And my office manager just told me the other day, hey, Brent, it's tax time again. And I'm like, because I don't want to hear that. I want to keep the money. I don't want to have to pay it all out.
Of course.
But it hit me. And I see her payment is $216 a month, $216 a month. She's already paid this like almost $5,000. She's got like another 4 or something to go. She agreed to pay a total of $9,800 or so for this piece of land.
Yeah.
I bought it for $600. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. And it was just inspired me so much. And it's like, we have almost 100 of these. And now not all of them are $600. You know that, Andrew.
Right.
But you find these ones, and it's like, I can't believe, and let me put it more into perspective. We had our lawn guy here at our house, and it is hot right now. It's like 100 degrees. It just rained this morning. So in Florida, after the rain, when the sun comes up, like the moisture just comes from the ground, and it's not moisture. It's like just a hot heat wave of you just sweat walking outside.
Yeah.
But my lawn man is out there working his butt off. And I was thinking to myself, we pay him like $200 a month. He's got to come here like 4 times for that. And we just collected it. And it's just like, I cannot believe that I stumbled into this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and the reason I kind of want to shift, obviously I've seen your success and I'm like, that sounds great. But I got a little taste of it with the deal I just did in Florida, actually. So I can go into that deal if you want.
Yeah, let's break it down. Like, I'd love to know, how you're finding these deals. Obviously, you talked about direct mail, how you're selling it. Let's do it. Let's break it down.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So this one was cool because it was a note. I have a few cash deals, bigger cash deals we can talk about, but this one's cool, man. This one gets me excited because it's still paying me. So basically what happened is I sent a direct mail piece. I think I sent just the land offer letter to an area in Florida. And then once the mail hit, I got a call back. This land had a driveway going through it to someone else's house. So I thought it was like, it's not a good piece of land. Nothing's going to happen with it. I cold called a few realtors in the area before I send the direct mail to kind of just get a feel for the area, what the pricing's like, see if they could help me sell the deals once I get them. I found a really good realtor in that area. So I called him up. I was like, hey, I got this piece of land under contract. There's a driveway going straight through the middle of it to someone else's house. and the homeowners don't own this land, but their driveway's going through it. Can we do anything with it? He's like, yeah, man, it's all about pricing. If, we can move it quick if we price it at this. And I was like, all right, let's just do it. Let's take a risk and let's just do it. So I bought it.
How much
and then listed
did you pay for it?
Bought it for $10,000.
$10,000. Where did you find the $10,000 to buy this land?
Actually, I had my realtor. He's cool. He doesn't mind posting the land before I close on it, as long as I have it under contract on a signable agreement. As long as we disclose to the seller that we may list it on the MLS, he's cool with listing it. So he actually put this up for sale first before I closed on it.
Wow. Okay.
So that's where we're at. Got a few offers in, cash offers at like 15, 16. I was like, dang it. Like, I'll still make money, but dang it. Like, it's kind of, eh. And then we got an offer at $20,000, and that's what we were asking, was $20,000. We got an offer at $20,000. He was going to pay $10,000 down, and then he was going to pay the rest off over 2 years at 11.9% interest. So let's just call it 12% interest.
11.9% interest.
We go high. We try to go high on the interest.
I love it.
I didn't even know what I was doing, man. I just let the realtor negotiate the interest. This is my first one. So let's do the math. So basically, he had $10,000 financed with me, divided by 24 months. So it was a payment of about $416 a month before the interest. And then I think it came out to like $470 after interest a month for 2 years. And I was like, okay, I'm going to close on this land. There's going to be some closing costs, right? So I got to pay the realtor commission, but I got my money back within like, I think 3 or 4 months. And now it's just paying me $470 a month. And it's just, it comes in, I get a check. He sends a check in the mail. So every first of the month, I'll go get the check, and it's amazing, man. It's just unreal, and all my money's out of it. It's just, it's amazing.
That is absolutely incredible. So you got your money back out of the deal, which were really, you just had to come up with closing costs. You didn't have to come up with the full $10,000, did you?
Yeah, well, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because he covered a lot of it in down payment.
That is incredible. So $460 a month. I mean, that's a truck payment. That is a car payment.
So we went out and bought a Tesla. No, I'm just kidding.
Did you really?
We bought one previously, but no, now it takes care of that payment.
How much is the Tesla payment?
Around $405. It depends how much your down payment is, but around $400, $500. So it takes care of that payment.
Yeah, you do that enough times, you're financially free. I mean, that's how it started for me. I just had to cover about $4,600 a month in bills when I was a lieutenant in the Army to get out, and I was at about $9,000 a month coming in from land payments, and it just hit me one day. I was like, "Oh my God, like I'm financially free because all my payments are covered."
Yeah, that's the goal. I mean, that's the goal. Have the mortgage covered, car payments covered. And then at the same time, Brent, you're still doing cash flips. So you can pay stuff off early if you want or put it back into more land. I mean, it's a gift that keeps on giving.
I was sitting there at my desk this morning. I got up really early this morning to get some work done. And I was just thinking to myself, all right, we're going to pay off our vacation home now. We're going to pay off our lake house now. And that's the goal. And I put it out there to God. Thank you for letting me pay our lake house off, and it's going to happen. Like, cause that's the next goal. Well,
yep.
There was one thing I wanted to kind of give the listener. You talked about the land offer letter a couple of times. For any of those listening to this and you want a copy of that land offer letter, you can have it right now by going to thelandsharks.com/LOL, as in land offer letter, or laugh out loud because you just got a piece of land under contract at 50 cents on the dollar, like Andrew just talked about. Again, that's thelandsharks.com/LOL. And if you're listening to this podcast and you're like, holy cow, my buddy needs to hear this, or my wife needs to hear this, or my friend needs to hear this, please share this episode. And if you haven't done so already, give us a 5-star review or rating. So the algorithm sees that we're doing great and more people hear episodes just like this. Andrew, thanks for staying on with me. We're running short on time. I don't want to hold you much longer. Any last words of advice for the listener? Anything you would like to share with them? I mean, you got so many great gold nuggets. I love when you join us on the support calls because like, I feel like I just ask you questions just like this and you help everybody. I mean, you help me a lot too. Like, I don't even think you realize like your whole builder strategy, like crazy good stuff.
I appreciate it. Yeah. There's a lot of different approaches with land. There's sniper approach, shotgun approach. Yeah, it's good stuff, man. But last words, kind of just going back to what I said earlier, you know, it's people aren't posting their taxes that they got to pay in April. They're not posting their canceled contracts and failures and buyers backing out a day before closing. They're not posting all this stuff, right? But they're going through it. Don't be discouraged. You're going to get over that wall, that first deal. Just keep going, and it's well worth it. It pays dividends, and you'll get so much money back. Just keep pushing through it. Don't compare yourself to others. Just be better than yourself, than you were yesterday, and keep going. And if you do want any help with deals, I'm happy to help. You can contact me on Instagram. My tag or my username is Andrew_Baughan, BAUGHAN. Hit me up. Happy to help.
Andrew_Baughan. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Andrew, thanks so much for being a go-giver and sharing all the wisdom and words of advice. Guys, I want you to head on over right now to wholesalinginc.com/land. That's wholesalinginc.com/land. Schedule the call, talk to my team, fill out an application. If we like what you have to say, we might even invite you into the tribe and go out and do great things and keep improving yourself daily. Just like Andrew said, his words, not mine. And God bless.